Hi, it's time for a re-whitening video. So what we have here today is a NuTone IM3003, and this one was white when it was new. This IM3003 was sent to me by a customer in Miami, Florida. As you can see, it's yellowed quite a bit, and while he sent it in to have it repaired electronically because it doesn't work properly, the faceplate is in pretty desperate shape. He was interested in having it re-whitened, and after getting it here, I called and told him I don't think this one's gonna be a good candidate to be re-whitened, and I thought I would do a video as to why and then what we're going to do to help him out. Where this one is installed in the customer's house, it's mounted inside on an outside wall, so it's been exposed to a lot of heat because Miami's hot. You can see how discolored it is on the front, and then it's got some other issues also. Right here there's supposed to be a pin which helps hold the door in place and covers up the room control switches, and there's supposed to be another pin down here at the bottom. These have both broken off, so the door doesn't really stay on anymore. It just wants to fall off all the time. The reason they've broken off is because the plastic basically has no life left in it. It's been sort of baked to death, and it's very brittle and very fragile, and he was actually aware of this because I think when he uninstalled it to send it to me, some other things got broken also. So let's take a look at what that's all about, and then I'm going to show you what we're going to do and talk a little bit about the re-whitening process on an IM3003 faceplate because it's a little different than all the other models we do. We're looking at the back of the faceplate. All the circuit boards and everything have been removed to be repaired, and there are more broken areas on this. All of these round posts all over the back of the faceplate, those are standoffs. Those are places where things are attached, and there are usually screws that go down inside the little holes and hold boards and speakers and other things in place. There are a lot of broken standoffs on this unit. There's one broken right here that helps hold on the main board. This one right here, which also helps hold the main board, half of the cylindrical part has broken away from the screw. Here up at the top, there's this long, tall one which helps hold the display board in place, but its matching half over here has broken off. Down here, there's this one that helps hold the tuner board in place, and its matching one over here has broken off. Also, up here, there are four that hold the speaker in place, here, 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 and here. This one has broken off, and the problem with this faceplate is that there's no life left in the plastic. It's all been baked out of it. So if I, say, put my finger on this tall one right here and go like this, it just snaps off. When this was new, while it wasn't a super pliable plastic, it certainly was strong enough that it wouldn't have just broken off like that. And for a standoff for a speaker or for screws down here on the switchboard assembly to break off, it's got to be pretty brittle. In fact, I'm pretty sure that if I put my strength into it, I can just snap it right off. There's just nothing left of it. So that's why it's not a candidate for re-whitening, because it's too damaged and it's too brittle and it's just not in good shape. So let's talk about re-whitening a 3003 faceplate, and then I'll show you what we're going to do for the guy. What makes re-whitening a 3003 faceplate more difficult than almost any other model I can think of are these two metal insert panels here and here that fit around the controls. This one shows radio on and off, master speaker volume, inside patio talk, door talk, end call, and program volume. And this one is AM, FM, phonotape, frequency, time, the tuning wheel for the tuner, and all that sort of stuff. These are actual metal panels that are glued onto the plastic faceplate. And what happens is these metal panels have an anodized finish on them to make it match the style of the faceplate. And then silk screened onto the anodized finish are all the labeling for all of the buttons and controls. If this faceplate is immersed in the chemicals and then put in the UV light box to be re-whitened, the chemicals will etch away at the anodized finish on the metal and sometimes eat away at the silk screen markings on it, and the end result is the metal panels have this mottled, sort of chalky look to them, and they don't look anything like they do right now, and it mars up the way the whole entire process goes, and it ruins the finish of the IM3003, and that's not really very acceptable. Problem with these panels are they're glued onto the plastic faceplate, and sometimes you get lucky and you can pop them loose if they didn't put too much glue, and the glue gets kind of brittle as it gets old. But sometimes, usually on the ones that you really need to take them off because the customer wants them re-whitened, you can't get them off. You can't pry on them or push them off from the back because you'll bend them and dent them, and then that ruins them also. So it's a really difficult situation. Tried a variety of different ways to protect the metal plates. We've tried covering them up with tape, with plastic film. I actually have done a few where we sprayed an acrylic coating over them, a clear coating, and then cured that in the UV light box just under the UV lights. And while that was probably the most promising, the chemicals still have a tendency to sort of creep up under the edge, and what you get is you get markings along the outside edge of the metal plates, and that kind of ruins the finish also. So it's a really difficult situation. So it's a hard thing to deal with. So let me show you what we're going to do for this guy, because we have some options. Here we have our donor faceplate. And this is from a used IM3003. And while this one is also discolored to some degree, you can see it's not as bad as his. And also, the plastic is in good condition. Both of the door hinge pins are in place. There's nothing broken off on the back. And actually on this one, you can get a pretty good idea of what the white color was here where it was covered up by the door compared to the part that was exposed to the sunlight. So on this particular one, you can see the metal panels have been removed. And here are the metal panels that came off. Fortunately on this one, the glue had become brittle enough that once I was able to pop one end loose, I very carefully was able to pop off the rest of it and have it fall out of the faceplate in one piece. And you can sort of see here on the back where the glue was sort of randomly applied to the back of the metal plate, and then it was squished in place. So this one didn't have a lot of glue on it, and these actually came off very well. And I actually did look for this faceplate and made sure that I could take these off before I called the guy to tell him that I had a faceplate that could be re-whitened. I didn't want to promise something I didn't have. These are going to get put away because these are valuable, and they're going to have to get glued back on here when I'm all done with the re-whitening. The other thing that we're going to have to do is, you can see here in the area that was covered up by the metal plates, along with this panel right here that's exposed behind the control buttons, which is like this part over here, this is all sort of spray painted black. And the chemicals will attack the black paint to some degree, so when I'm done, the exposed parts will have to be repainted so it looks properly, and that's not too terribly hard to do. And then the other thing that's going to happen to this faceplate is, here on this raised edge around the faceplate, it has an applied sort of chrome finish, and this is done a lot like how it would be done if you ever built model cars when you were a kid, and they would chrome plate the plastic. This particular example, it's worn away quite a bit here and there on it, and what's going to happen to this chrome material is when it goes in the light box with the chemicals are going to dissolve whatever the adhesive is that holds this onto the plastic, and when this comes out of the light box to be washed, this is all going to get washed away. And what we're going to end up with is a white edge instead of a chromed edge. There isn't a lot you can do about that. We don't have the ability to apply the chrome finish back to the edge, and sometimes on sets we're not re-whitening, if it's worn away a little bit here and there, I have a little silver paint pen and you can touch it up, and that usually looks pretty good. But in this particular case, that's not going to happen because there's too much of it to do, and it'll look kind of lousy that way. So there are some compromises on re-whitening a 3003 faceplate. The thing I'm going to do, I'll put this one out of the way for right now. On this particular one, the original one, this doesn't have any value as a complete faceplate any longer because it's in too bad a condition and it's broken. But what does have value are these metal panels. So I'll see if I can remove these on this customer's, and then if I can, I'll save them. In fact, I may, if they come off well, I may reuse them and put them on the replacement faceplate because these are in good shape, because we don't waste anything around here. here. We save everything that we can, and if I can save a set of these or even just one of these, if just one comes off, I'll save it because someday I'll have a customer that really needs it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to wash and clean the replacement, get it all ready. It's going to go in the whitening tank, and I'll be back in 24 hours and show you how it turns out. Okay, so I wanted to show you really quick. I was able to get the panels off, and you can actually see here, I think, how much more glue there is, like on this top panel here, but fortunately it had hardened enough that I was able to get most of it off. So now all of the usable bits of this faceplate are taken off. So now it's pretty much trash, and to give you some idea of what kind of shape this is really in, if I take this carefully and hold the ends like this and go like this, I can just snap it in half because there's just no life left in the plastic, and I can guarantee you that this would not have done this if this was brand new. So this is going to go in the trash now, and the other one's going to go back in the whitening tank. I'm back. A couple days have gone by, and here's our finished IM3003 white. It's been re-whitened. It was thoroughly washed. I glued the metal insert panels back in that we took off of it originally, reassembled it all the boards have been repaired and everything, and I think it turned out pretty well. Now, of course, it's hard for you to tell. You would have to go back to the earlier part of the video to take a look at what this one looked like, but we can also do a comparison like this. So here's this is the one the customer sent in that somehow, I don't know, it accidentally got broken. I don't know how that happened exactly, but it didn't go in the trash because it occurred to me after we had a severe accident here with this, is that I needed this to show you. So there's part of it anyway. And you can see the stark difference between the yellowed one the customer had sent in and the re-whitened one, and maybe we do it like that, it even shows up better. Now we have a completely restored and fully functional IM3003 white. As I predicted and explained in the first part of the video, the chromed edge here around the perimeter of the faceplate, the chrome has washed away. It came off during the washing of the faceplate, which is fine because now it's an all white unit and that seems to be okay. There's also, in this little raised edge here around the control panels, this would always have a little bit of chrome on it also, and that came off as well. So now we have basically a black and white with chrome or satin chrome brushed aluminum looking control panel inserts, and I think it looks very good. I think it looks probably a little less dated than the original style. Now that we have the new faceplate, the customer no longer needs Velcro to hold the door on because the little hinge pins here and here, which are part of the faceplate, are intact, so now the door swings as it's supposed to, and that makes it easier to operate. It's just a good rebuild. It's almost like brand new. If we flip it around really quick and look at the back, it's all been rebuilt, it's all been cleaned, it's in good working condition, and it's ready to give the guy another 20-25 years worth of use. So all in all, it turned out to be a really good re-whitening project. It turned out really well, and it was a bonus that I was able to get the metal insert panels off before the re-whitening so they didn't get damaged or scuffed up or marred in any way. That's pretty much it. He's going to get a call this afternoon, and we'll probably get it shipped out to him tomorrow. I hope you found this interesting and perhaps helpful. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up on YouTube because that always helps. There'll be a banner right here that shows you how to subscribe. Go to our YouTube homepage, click on the bell or on the wheel, put in your email address, and every time we post a new video, you'll get a notification and you can watch it. That's all for today. See you on the next video.